In India, we recognize the great texts in three categories: Itihas, Puran, Ved. Vedas are abstractions. Vedas are full of abstract ideas, scientific theories, explanations for celestial happenings. Puranas are stories, but not of human beings, of other kinds of beings. Puranas are the stories of other type of beings, not of humankind. Itihasa is the story of the human being. When I say it is the story of the human being, Itihasa should not be understood as his story. There is a historic element to it. The facts are rooted in history, but this is my story. If it is his story, what meaning to your life? Only if it's your story, it is a process of growing up for you. What happens in a story like Mahabharat? The range of things that happen in a story like Mahabharat, the range of people, just to tell you the magnitude. The first version of Mahabharat that was written down by Ganapati himself had 100,000 verses. When Vyasa wanted to tell the story and somebody had to write it down, he found no better chronicler than Ganapati himself. But Ganapati is bored of this scholarship business. He said, see, once I start writing, you should not even give a moment's gap. If I write this word, the next word should be already on. If you hesitate, I will leave and go, the project is off. You must keep telling the story in such a way that I should never have a break. Are you ready? So Vyasa said, fine, because this story is not something that I'm going to make up, this story is living in me. It will just find expression. Only thing is, you should not write a single word that you do not understand. They made a deal. They made a very clever deal. And he narrated the story, these 100,000 verses which depict over a few thousand characters. These characters are not guest appearances. Each one of them, from their birth to death, all aspects of their life, their childhood, their marriage, their asceticism, their sadhana, their conquests, their miseries, their joys and their death, and for most of them, their previous lives and their next lives, in enormous detail. Putting Odyssey and Iliad together, this is about 7 times longer than that. Did anybody last through Odyssey and Iliad? Did anybody manage to read through this, the Latin version? Most people won't last, they will just somewhere. By the time they read the introduction, they feel scholarly enough to give it up. So this is 7 times longer than that. So definitely we will not be trying to cover the story as story is, but the story as it's relevant to you and me today. Because I want you to live through the story. I don't want you to sit in 21st century and make a judgment on people who lived here 5,000 years ago. It's the most unfair thing to do. I'm sure if they come alive now and look at you, they will have horrible judgments to make about you the very way you are. Yes or no? So it's not for you to sit here and make judgments. This is not about good. This is not about bad. This is not about the right thing and the wrong thing. This is about exploring the human creature like he's never been explored in any other place. Just simply an exploration. So Vyasa, who was the author or who first told the story, took this challenge up because he wanted to see that the story lives. Since then, thousands of people have written their own Mahabarats with mild adaptations. There are adaptations to different states in the country, to different regions, different castes and creeds have adopted it in their own way. Different tribes, the tribal and the folk people have adapted in their own way, and every storyteller, when he stands up to tell the story, looking at the crowd that is sitting in front of him, he's made his own adaptations. But the story is not contaminated with adaptations, it is only enriched with adaptations, because the beauty of all these people in these 5,000 years has been, nobody ever contaminated the story by trying to judge it. So you should not do it. You do not contaminate the story with your judgment. Oh, who is the good guy, who's the bad guy in this? That's not how it is. These are just people. This dharma and adharma is not about right and wrong. This dharma and adharma is not about good and bad. It is not some kind of code of conduct for a king or a priest or the citizenry. It is a law that if you grasp it, it will allow you to move towards truth or untruth. This is what dharma and adharma is. So the story is a very powerful spiritual process. If you live the story, if you judge the story, it is a tremendous possibility for confusion in your life, because after this you will not know what's good, what's bad, what to do in your life, what not to do in your life, whether to live in the family or go to the jungle, whether to fight a war or not to fight a war. If you just live the story, you will understand dharma means that which allows you to make this living process a stairway to the divine. Otherwise, you make this living process a spiral to hell. People are using it that way. People are using the process of living as a spiral to hell. Dharma is about learning to use the life process as a stairway to the divine.